Now, after seeing Secret Level on Amazon Prime, I will say the show did give me what Love, Death, and Robot gave to me from Netflix. And yes, my surprise, I found out with the same people who made it. Now, this is just me doing my top, I would say top eight since there were only eight episodes. So these are my top eight episodes and which ones went from bottom to top. But disclaimer here, no episode was terrible. Okay, there were everyone was a hit 10 out of 10 for what he was trying to portray. But this is just my own take, so let's get into it. My number eight goes to Crossfire. Not because it was bad, it had good visuals, it had the story to it was a bit okay. I mean, it's kind of story that requires a little bit of more time to flush out properly because at the end of the day, they keep saying we're all good guys, yeah, and it's kind of true because each one is just doing what they were ordered to do. So there's really no good or bad guy in that story, and the whole idea of him avenging his friend is kind of fair, and I was kind of rooting for the other guy. But yeah, it was a good show, it was good story, good telling, good visuals, but it didn't really connect compared to the others. Number seven, I will give to Pac-Man because, well, there was really no idea, or rather, I didn't have any particular idea how you would make a Pac-Man show. I mean, it's just a ball that eats ghosts, so I'm pretty sure a lot of creatives could have come up with something different. I do like the plot twist in the end that it was Pac-Man who was trapped this whole time, that he needed freedom, and the guy had to fight his way out of Pac-Man's control. But other than that, I heard people kind of saying it was too dark. It wasn't really that dark for me. I think it was just okay for itself, but I think because of the idea or what we've grown up to see or the nostalgia from playing Pac-Man back in the day, I think we were expecting something more light-hearted, more fun, more entertaining. But this was okay, but it goes to number seven spot for me. My number six we go to Dungeons and Dragons because well it's Dungeons and Dragons and I got to see everything dungeon and dragon part of it. I mean we got to see the dragon, the mage, the possessed, the elf, the dwarf. It was a beautiful show. I think it's one of those things I really wish they had time to flesh out. It's one of those things I wish someone would copy off and make a full show because that would be awesome. And I was actually kind of worried for the dragon when he actually absorbed that magic because that was my first thought. Taking something into your body doesn't always mean you're strong enough to, handle it. Because you're strong enough to take it out of someone doesn't mean you're strong enough to handle the power when it comes into you. I enjoyed Dungeons and Dragons. It was a pretty fair show, and the designs and the graphics and the visuals were awesome. But yeah, that would be number six for me. My number five will go to Shifu. Now, I wanted to put this one higher. I really wanted to. And I get where they were coming from, trying to portray his ability to come back to life a bit older than it was when he died. But I think they didn't need to do it too many times because the major fight we wanted to see was Shifu and the final boss. This entire show is Shifu trying to get vengeance. Like, we know he got his vengeance, we know he won, he came back older, which means he killed the boss, and probably would have died a couple of times before getting to the boss. And we want to see a whole lot of fights because that's what the game was about, a lot of crazy martial arts, a lot of skills and back and forth. And that's what I think most people want to see, myself included. I really want to see a lot of that, but I get to see that final 1v1 with the boss, but we didn't get to see that. So yeah, I'm gonna give Shifu number five just because of that. But it was beautiful. It had everything similar to the game which it was portrayed from, and I really enjoyed it. But I cannot put it higher. That's just my opinion, anyway. My number four goes to Unreal Tournament. Now, Unreal Tournament, compared to all the other shows, is one of the few ones that was done properly. When I say done properly, you had a good beginning, you understand the full story from beginning to the end, ended perfectly. It had good story, it had good visuals, it had good action packed, it had all the setups and the plots were done beautifully in that short amount of time. For they to pull that off was just superb. I would have given Unreal Tournaments more or taking it higher on the list, but the top three are just too much, too entertaining, too awesome, in my opinion, and that's why Unreal Tournament is number four for me. Now, three, two, and one can easily be interchanged for me because I enjoyed each and every one of them. But I'm gonna give number three to Armored Core. Yeah, it's Keanu Reeves. Let me say that again. It's Keanu Reeves. It's John Wick. It's a guy who doesn't talk much. A guy who barely says much, just uses action to tell you exactly what he's trying to do. And that's exactly what happened here. This is just John Wick with an armored suit and just kicking ass and taking names and have someone in his ear to talk to. That's what Armored Core is. He whooped ass, he took name, he almost got beaten a couple of times, he found his way around it, and he finished the job. Armored Core was really good. I really did not see that end coming though. The crushing of that guy's head, that was just diabolical. But yeah, I enjoyed Armored Core, and it goes for my number three. Number two goes to New World, Once and Future King. Now, this is by far one of the most entertaining because it was funny from beginning to the end. And here's a fun fact: his original sword and that fight stance he used was completely copied out of his movie Conan the Destroyer and Conan the Barbarian, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's one of them that he got that fight stance from. Yeah, Arnold Schwarzenegger killed this role. His confidence, how stupid he was, his belief that he was unbeatable, and you must give the man credit for his resilience. He did not give up. Every time he woke up, he went for that fade. He got his ass whooped and kept coming back. I was a little bit skeptical when he got the magic thing. I thought, oh, now it's about to go a little bit overboard. But no, he lost the fight. And all that magic thing didn't do shit for him. And I really enjoyed that. Very New World was just peak. I would have given it number one if it wasn't for the fact that number one was just on a whole different level. Now, for those of you who have already seen the show, you already know what number one is. It's Warhammer 40,000. Now, going into this, I have heard a lot about Warhammer in the past. I've never played the game. I don't know pretty much anything. I am 0% on knowledge when it comes to Warhammer, okay? Now, I have seen the new game that released on the PlayStation 5, and I have barely played it. I've only seen a couple of clips online, and I know Warhammer are a bunch of badasses. And this is me being vague because I don't know much about it. But this episode showed just how much, or rather, showed me, the one who doesn't know much about Warhammer, just how badass is the Space Marines are. I mean, this episode was peak. The action, the fights, everything about this show was crazy. I mean, those four guys could take out a fucking army, my friend. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed everything about Warhammer 40,000. I would have given another thing number one if this guy wasn't on the list. If this particular episode wasn't on it, I would have given something else number one. But there is nothing in this entire season that is taking number one from Warhammer 40,000. That's just my opinion. I don't know about other people. Anyway, thanks for listening, guys, and see you on the next one.